Oh, hello, weary travelers. Come on in. It looks like the bard is about to begin. I'll pour the ales over the stories, fables, and tales about the bards, battle axes, and bows taking out their ferocious foes. Just take a listen to the tales that we spin here at the Carriage Rest Inn.
Previously on Carriage Rest Tales. With the help of a mysterious device created by Damien the Artificer, our adventurers were finally able to practice their skills against the Denoa Boggarts, and they looked ridiculous. Our leader and commander, Benson, watched in horror and disbelief as his troops fired upon one another and did their worst Zorro impersonations trying to close the rift. Our heroes learned a valuable lesson that day. The goals of the Order of Light are: first, close the rifts. Then, kill the Denoa. Finally, rescue the citizens. Will our adventurers finally get it together? Do they have what it takes to be in the Order? Will the group have the heart to tell Nomis that he didn't actually close the rift? Will Wood stop firing on her friends? Will Vaso graduate from a quarter orc to a half orc? Find out next on Carriage Rest Tales.
I think whoever wrote that deserves an award.
I agree.
I don't know, maybe some inspiration. I don't know.
Inspiration for sure.
I always forget to do that though, and then it'd be favoritism.
I think we're okay with it.
Yeah,
Okay.
definitely.
Well, welcome to another episode of Carriage Rest Tales. I'm your host and one of the Dungeon Masters, Mike. And to my left, we have the very...
Very what?
I was going to say...
Mike.
I lost it. Go ahead.
Hey everyone, this is Ryan. I'm playing Nomis, the Tabaxi Bard.
Hey everybody, this is Nick. I'm playing Vaso, the half-orc.
Hi, this is Sam, and I'll be playing Woods, the Elven Ranger.
And this is John, your disembodied voice of many NPCs who doesn't wear pants. Just tonight, because my air conditioning's broken.
Oh my gosh.
His
video's off today, guys.
Humble was the word I was looking for.
Very humble.
Bard. So last time, we just finished up fighting some Denoa. You guys are kind of licking your wounds, hobbling back to home base. I believe almost everyone is dead.
I'm perfectly alive.
Oh, that seems about right. You shot,
Yeah,
you shot everyone else.
Maybe next round we need to fire at her.
Yeah.
All right.
You know you did kill Vaso, right?
I did not kill you.
You sent him to 0 hit points.
Well, I was going to come help you, but you were figuring it out on your own, so it's fine. I wasn't going to let you die. I had a cure wounds I was holding specifically for you.
I appreciate it.
Thank you.
Now let me pull this arrow out of my butt.
Okay. What are we doing?
I mean, Nomis is
You
riding
were
high.
headed for the medical tent.
Yeah.
Nomis is riding high. He thinks he did a great thing, closing that rift. He's about to go meet Vanessa, get some healing.
I don't.
All's good with the world.
Okay, let's just go to let's get you guys patched up. And I feel like she's holding kind of both of you under each arm as we're walking.
So you're heading on back to your base and making your ways to the medic tent where you're going to meet Dr. Vanessa Graves.
You enter the medical tent, and Dr. Graves is currently just kind of working and making sure that the entire thing is set up. This is sort of a temporary thing. There's normally an infirmary, but they're on the field. And when you walk in, she takes a look at you and says, "Oh dear, I told Benson something like this would happen and that this was too dangerous for recruits. You two, come sit down. I'll take care of you." And she immediately just starts grabbing equipment and it tries to tend to your wounds first, Vaso.
Can I help at all?
Yes, could you grab some of those bandages from the cabinet over there?
Shouldn't go grab the bandages.
Thank you. Tell me, what happened out there? Should I expect this same thing from the other recruits?
No. She my
maybe not.
teammate over here shot me, so
Okay, it's we had to go first, and nobody really knew what we were doing, so I don't think you should expect this from the next round. But I may or may not have shot an arrow into his butt.
She has this look of disbelief on her face and she just is not really quite comprehending what you're telling her because she's hearing this and picturing what happened, and she kind of is formulating the opinion of, how did you get into the order? But she doesn't actually say that. That's what her face says. And she says, well, excuse me, I haven't properly introduced myself. I'm Dr. Graves, Dr. Vanessa Graves. Please call me Vanessa. People don't seem to like using my last name.
Hi, Vanessa. I am Nomis, and I take my hat off and give a little bow. I am the closer of Rifts.
Oh my gosh.
While these two were fighting each other, I was able to complete the mission. And he's still like riding on. Oh, yeah.
Is that so?
No.
Vacho's just
With
like,
this sword, and I try to pull it out of the sheath, like this one.
Keep that put away in here.
yeah, won't you, hey, Nomis, why don't you tell us how you did that?
Well, it's no brainer. I just used my magical weapon and stitched it up.
No.
Little whoosh, whoosh, whoosh.
Dr. Graves is giving you that same look that she gave Melwood a couple
No.
minutes ago.
No.
I was there. I was looking right at it.
Okay. So, I mean, here are the bandages. I also would like to say I only shot him with one arrow. The other things killed him. Like that was it wasn't just me.
What other things?
The Genoa.
What came out? No, I know the Genoa came out, but what did it look like?
They were like giant
Like a
dogs, I think.
hairy cat dogs?
Yeah. Big teeth.
Like wolves? Kind of?
She is taking in what you're saying, but not really reacting with much other than thinking face.
Vacho's just laying down on the bed or whatever, the medic bed.
Yeah, she's also preoccupied with trying to stitch
Just
you
like,
up.
whatever,
Vaso.
I'm just laying down.
Well, listen, I hope that the three of you don't end up in here like this again. I'd hate to see you come in here in this condition again, especially you, Vaso.
Doc, I got a question. So I noticed when I was helping to close the riff that it was like burning. Like my body was burning.
Burning.
Is that normal?
Yes, people do describe it that way. Some people simply describe it as warm. Others, some describe it as almost searing. Others describe it more like a buzz. But it's all similar adjectives that are used to describe the feeling of using the
Man,
light.
my body wasn't burning at all. I must be like really good.
It was a pain that felt good.
Yes, that is consistent with how others describe it.
So the bigger the rift, the more it's going to take from us.
She doesn't say anything and just nods.
Oh.
Be careful. Some rifts are too big to close for one person.
I think Woods is putting the pieces together in her head and starting to kind of understand the severity of what's going on. And it's not really fun in games. And she's kind of almost embarrassed now that she shot an arrow in her friend.
Dr. Graves asks you to grab another piece of equipment for her.
Yeah. And she just kind of shakes her head and goes and picks up the whatever thing.
Yeah. So from then on, she continues to keep you active in the conversation, almost like she's trying not to let you think about things on your own for too long to kind of save you the stress of thinking about that while she patches up your friends. And I think that is adequate for your introduction to Dr. Vanessa.
Yeah.
Is she like young, old?
What's she look like?
She is on the early side of middle-aged woman. She's a brunette elf.
Is her skin blue? I feel like her skin's blue. Like a bluish.
It's got a bluish tint, sure.
That makes me happy.
So after you guys get patched up, you have the rest of the evening to yourself to kind of reflect and meditate on the battle you guys had and basically kind of get rest up. Benson did tell you, or a messenger comes and tells you that you guys are on shift for tomorrow's patrol. And you learn from the messenger that the patrol is more like you're showing the presence of the Order of Light. So it's not like you're going to be like hunting bad guys or something like that, but typically you're just making a display of the Order in the city, talking to the citizens, that type of stuff.
So let's get some food. And she looks at the two of you.
Sounds good to me.
Yeah, I definitely want to eat.
Yeah.
Okay. So I should look at Vaso. Was it like burning? Like, do you know what I mean?
Yeah, like when I cast my light shield, I thought I felt a little burning.
Yeah. Like Like, do you feel like it was taking something out of you?
Yeah. I definitely took some hit points.
What are y'all talking about?
So, okay, Vaso, I need your help with this.
Yeah.
I feel fine.
Hey,
Yeah.
Closing that
buddy.
rift, I didn't feel anything.
Hey, buddy, Nomis, please just sit down for a minute. We got something to tell you.
Yeah, we need like a serious moment.
Okay.
Yeah,
I
you.
mean, I saw what I saw.
Well, yeah, that was her. That wasn't you.
How? You weren't even near the rift.
Yeah, I was. I know, but I was. Okay, so you know how we're all here for a reason, right? Like
Yes.
something happened, and we figured out we had the gift. So I was doing earlier what I did that day, and I was actually stitching the rift. I didn't know I could do it until today, but it's actually like a spell that I can cast. So that's what I was doing.
But Benson said our swords and stuff were magical too.
I think
And I was right there.
I know, but I think
And I made,
I think they're magical so they can kill the Denoa. I think that's the only thing that can kill the Denoa. I think it's other things that we do that stitch up, that close the actual rift. And it like hurt.
Sort of
it
burns.
hurt. I don't know if I believe you guys. I mean, I was there. I saw what I saw.
Okay.
Vasa's gonna look at Woods and be like, so like, what'd you do to stitch it?
I mean, and she like pulls out a chain that's around her neck, and it's a half crescent moon. She's like, I just kind of like held this and just started talking to Sepeller.
Wait. You don't really know how you closed it, but you claimed you closed it.
Yeah.
And I was right there
But I did. I like,
with my rapier watching it stitch up.
but that was me.
Are you trying to pull a fast one on Nomis here?
No, man. Like, we need to work together.
I agree.
Okay. She just like looks at Vaso for some help here.
All right. Whatever. Sure. You closed it. All right. I'm going to go get some salmon.
I'm gonna look at Woods and I'm gonna be like, he'll figure it out soon enough.
Okay. I hope so. Because him standing there swinging a sword at air is not going to do anything for us.
Yeah.
Right? Okay.
Right.
I'm hungry. She's going to go eat.
Yeah, me too.
Nomis, we'll do you first. You want to get your salmon, and then you remember that there's a really nice sunny spot on the roof of the barracks. On the roof of your guys' tower, there is like a community garden. So you got, like vegetables and stuff like that. Carmen's been kind of upkeeping it. But there's also a really nice sunny spot that you as a cat person have just been absolutely loving to kind of go up there and relax and sunbathe a little bit. So you take your salmon lunch
Yeah.
and you head up to the roof.
Okay.
While you're up there, you look across the roof and you see Bonnie, who is just kind of sitting down in a nice, like, comfortable spot, and she's reading a book. The book looks pretty old and beat up, but she seems pretty enveloped in it. But when she hears you coming, she looks up and says, "Hello."
Oh, hello there. Is all right if I join you? I kind of like the spot up here. Very sunny and peaceful.
Sure. That would be nice. Listen, I saw you earlier today.
Closing that rift,
and
right?
Is that what you call that?
Oh yeah, I was there. I closed it. I was right there.
Did you feel
what?
it? The rift when you closed it, the light.
No.
And she like just looks away and looks kind of sad. And she was like, I was hoping you felt it too. It felt to me. Everybody else kind of described it as good, but for me, it just brought back some bad memories.
I mean, my friends just tried to tell me that they were the ones that actually closed the rift, but they couldn't really tell me how they closed it. But they did say they felt some sort of burning, weird pain. So I don't know.
So you didn't feel it then? You didn't close the rift?
All right, is this some like running gag here? I mean, I was there. Did my friends put you up to this?
No, you would have felt it. No one doesn't feel it when they use the light. It hurts. It does. And I think I understand how people can describe it as pleasant, but for me, I don't know.
Okay. And Nomis is going to look defeated because he thinks he's being like pranked by everybody. So he's just going to kind of like nod along and.
What were you doing during the fight while your friends were closing the rift and when they could feel the light?
I was closing the rift. I was right there in front of it with my sword.
Yeah, but how? What were you trying to do?
Close it. I was slashing it with my sword, and I saw it close.
You don't close the rift with a weapon.
I mean, I just did. I was right there in front of it. I don't know what you people keep telling me. I didn't close it. I was right there. My friend can't even tell me how she closed it, but she told me she did.
You close the rift by looking inside yourself and finding the light. It's not a weapon skill.
All right. Well, I'm glad I can amuse everybody here.
That's
fine.
Go ahead and roll a history check now that you're having this conversation with Bonnie.
All right, so I had nothing. So I'm going to roll my D20. In my new rolling mat that awesome friends around this table bought me in Italy.
That's the first roll on it.
Oh, and I got a 20.
As she's talking about looking inside and seeing the light, you start reflecting back on the night that you lost Grace. And you remember that there was a rift there, and you instinctively played some music as you felt a light leave your body.
Mm-hmm.
And then you remember passing out. But when she's talking about it, you remember feeling that burning feeling as the light's coming out.
Okay.
Vaso and Woods, you guys are kind of meshing together. Were you planning on staying together for the evening, or are you going to kind of do your own thing and peel off like Nomis did?
I think we'd eat together probably, but I was gonna hit the gym, so I'm gonna
eat and then go lay down.
She's probably gonna be like,
I gotta heal here.
So yeah, okay.
I did kind of die.
You did die, but you ever want to come? Hit the weights with me. You're really a half work.
Yeah.
Huh.
Why? What do I look like?
A little bit more human, I think.
Okay.
If you ever want to come hit the weights, bulk up a little, just let me know.
Okay, Woods, as you are on your way to the gym, you pass by the swimming pool. And in the swimming pool is Quentin the turtle. And as you're walking past, he comes out of the water and comes up and he calls over to you. He says, "Hey, wait.
Hi.
I wanted to talk to you about this morning.
Okay.
I noticed that you, in battle, seemed, I don't know, nervous, maybe? I think it's why on the first day you broke your bowstring and why you fired on your teammate today. What is it? Is it nervousness or something else?"
She's really caught off guard.
This is also like the first
Yeah.
time you've heard him speak.
Yeah. So,
You specifically.
wow. That's really interesting that you picked up on that.
Yes, I would like to help if I can. Perhaps provide some insight.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if nervous is the word I would call it, but this isn't, and she like kind of motions to her bow, like, this isn't generally me.
What do you mean by that?
The weapons are new to me.
I see. So they don't feel natural in your hands.
They're starting to, but no, I have to work really hard at it.
Yes, I understand that quite a bit. And you flash back to when you saw him fight earlier, and while he's normally a turtle and he moves kind of slowly, in battle, he was fast. And that just occurs to you as he's talking about what he's telling you. I was raised by monks who taught me to focus and find inner peace, even with things that bothered me sometimes. I learned to channel some of that into combat. And whether that was sparring practice with the monks that I studied with, or fighting the Denoa, I think of my weapon as an extension of myself and an exercise in my conduit for good energy.
That's a lot. You think about all that?
I think about a lot of things.
I don't know if my brain can process that way.
Have you ever tried meditation?
Oh, yeah. I'm an elf. That's how I sleep. But I'll be honest with you, I don't do it very well. I don't know why I'm telling you all these things.
Sometimes people say things to me because they try to fill the silence. If you hadn't noticed, I don't talk much.
Yeah, I definitely noticed that. But you're talking a lot now.
When you say that, he stops talking and just nods at you.
Okay. Hey, I'm going to go to the gym. Do you want to, I know you're swimming, but do you want to go lift some weights maybe with me?
Might I suggest a change of pace for you? Perhaps you'd like to join me in swimming some laps?
Sure. Yeah.
And you swim some laps with Quentin the Turtle.
Awesome. You get your food, you kind of scarf it down, and then you go crash in your bed for a few hours because you're hurting a little bit. You're letting the bandages that Dr. Graves put on you kind of set a little bit more.
Yep.
But then as you are tossing and turning, you can't really sleep. So you decide that, well, I'm feeling a little bit little homesick. So you make your way down to the stables because you've already kind of been interacting with some of the horses down there, some of the Pegasus. So you make your way down to the stables.
Cool. Yeah, I'm gonna go down and hang out with the one that I like, the one that likes me, and
Horse with no name.
yeah, horse with no name yet because I don't know what his name is.
From the stables, while you're hanging out with your horse friend, you look and you are able to see Wallace, the Loxodon, practicing with his giant sword. And you watch as he is tossing this thing between his hands and his trunk. And what he's doing right now doesn't look like necessarily combat practice. It looks more like he's dancing with his sword.
Oh, interesting.
So he at one point he throws it straight up into the air with like a spin, and he lands it on his trunk, and he's kind of like spinning it like a basketball.
Cool. I'm gonna walk over and get a closer look and just kind of observe because
he notices you walking over while he's spinning this thing like a basketball on his trunk, and he says, "Vaso!" And he throws his sword up into the air and stylishly catches it and sets it down gently. "Wonderful to see you, my friend. How are you after this morning's events?"
It's like, well, I'm healing. It definitely hurt a little bit, but I'm healing.
Wonderful to hear. Have you met Dr. Vanessa?
Yes, I have. She definitely helped me out a lot. She bandaged me up pretty good, so very helpful.
Very knowledgeable woman she is. It's great to see other practitioners of the medical practice.
Are you do you practice medicine?
Occasionally, my people do. It's what we are known for in Zinbara.
Oh, that's interesting. Good to know.
Medicine and circuses, that's what we do.
Oh, yeah, I saw you throwing your sword around. Did you learn that growing up, or?
A bit, yes. We are some for the show. Listen, I wanted to ask you, when did you start practicing combat?
When I got here.
I see. That explains a lot.
Yeah, I'm pretty novice, to say the least. I grew up on a farm, so didn't really have much experience.
I see why you chose the axe now as your weapon. Growing up on a farm, I'm sure you were used to that.
Yep, chopping wood.
Yes, well, combat is not the same as chopping wood. It's a different skill set. I had to learn that myself years ago. See, what I was doing just now was more of a show. It's more what we practiced for the circus. And I learned that at a very young age. But I had to learn to use those skills a little differently in combat. Perhaps I could show you some of the finer points of combat so that you can turn your wood chopping into fighting.
Yeah, absolutely. Any help I can get, I'll take it.
Wonderful! And he claps you on the back with his trunk, and it hurts.
Oh.
Do you want to get started now?
Sure. Let's do it.
Okay. Roll a Constitution check for me.
All right, so I get +2 on Constitution. And I rolled a 4, so 6 total, which makes sense because he's still a little sore,
A little
hurt.
woozy.
Yeah.
So, yeah, that's...
So while you are training with Wallace, he tries to teach you to do some of the more basic kind of weapon dancing that he was doing, and you just keep hitting yourself over and over again. You're not using an actual weapon, you're using like a training weapon so that you don't hurt yourself. And by the end of it, you're not feeling great.
Night passes by. You guys all sleep pretty soundly because you're pretty tired from your day's events. 2 of you used the gift of the light. The other had his hopes dashed. You wake up, Nomus, to a little music box playing. It's the same music box melody that you heard the first episode, that first night you were here. And that's how you wake up.
Is it the same melody?
It's the same melody.
Do I have like a connection to that melody? Like, is it something I've heard before?
Probably. It's probably something from like little things they would have taught kids how to play.
Okay. So I can replicate it
Yep.
pretty easily?
Yep.
Okay. And that probably just makes me more sad, reminding me of where the music box came from.
Welcome to the depressing D&D podcast.
Wah, wah.
Looking over at the music box, you see the little spinning figurine come out of the music box as it opens automatically, and there is a letter inside.
A letter I haven't noticed
A
before?
letter you haven't noticed before.
Okay. Well, I'm opening that letter.
It says, Nomus, I heard from a little birdie that you and your friends had a rough day of training. Please know we all believe in you. You will soon find your rhythm and whip your team into shape. Gidget.
Okay. I think Nomus is stunned. Like, how can Gidget know all this? So I think he's just going to be sitting there, like, really pondering how she knows and where she might be.
I have so many questions as the listener.
Get in line.
The next morning, you hear the trumpets greeting the dawn and make your way down to get some breakfast with Carmine, where Benson is waiting for you guys.
Woods, you're going to see Woods come from the pool.
Morning swim.
Yeah, she really liked it. So she swapped out her morning workout for a morning swim. So her hair's kind of wet in a afro, and she's hitting the buffet line.
Do I see Benson?
Yeah, he's already got his breakfast, and he's just waiting for you guys to arrive so that he can discuss what's going to happen that day, and then you guys will set out.
Can I pull him aside? Like, can I approach him and ask if I can talk to him for a minute in private?
Yes, Nomus. What can I do for you?
Nomus is going to pull out his rapier and hand it back to Benson. And, Nomus looks very sad, almost like a Puss in Boots looking up at him, big welly eyes. And Benson, I don't think I deserve this. I really thought yesterday I closed that rift, and I feel like I'm the laughing stock of my friends, Vaso and Woods, and probably the other 3. And I just feel really humiliated. I thought I did a really good thing, and I don't know if I'm cut out to be here.
Are you telling me that you are resigning your post?
I mean, I don't want to. I thought I did. I closed it, and I felt on cloud 9, and I had a very, I'll call it rude awakening yesterday after the battle that I really didn't close it. So I'm just feeling embarrassed, and I don't know.
I understand.
My pride's taking a hit.
I was prepared to give the 3 of you a dressing down like you have never seen before this morning, but I think maybe you might have gotten there on your own.
Oh, I definitely did. I like people to look at me and smile and cheer and laugh for all the good reasons, but I feel like I just did a very horrible thing that now they're laughing at me for all the wrong reasons.
He doesn't say anything to that, but he gives you a look that you haven't really seen on his face before. He is very empathetic to you right now, and he is surprised that you are having such a mature moment in this. And he looked, when you saw him this morning, he did look like he was still fuming a little bit, but that is gone from him now. I'm going to say the rest of the party comes and joins you at this point, and Benson addresses the three of you, and he says, "You three did adequately yesterday, and I apologize if my judgments were a little harsh. I was prepared to scold you this morning, but Nomus has shown me that I think you may have learned some lessons on your own." And he looks at you, Melwood, at this point, and this like confused look kind of comes over his face. He says, "You look a little different." He's noticing your wet hair.
Yeah, I just decided to go for a swim this morning.
Yeah, he notices that it's not just your hair. You are carrying yourself a little differently.
Yeah, she feels different, I'll be honest with you.
At that point, he kind of snaps back to attention, and he says, "All right, this morning we're going on patrols. Patrols are an important part of our duties in the Order of Light. It's not just about saving people and closing the rifts. It's also about making people feel safe. And that's what we do when we go on patrols. We do a little bit of community outreach. We're good Samaritans in the street. And it's important that you are on your best behavior." And he looks at you, Nomus, like he's about to say something snarky to you, but he doesn't.
Okay. Because you all notice that Nomus doesn't even have his instrument with him, which he always has with him.
Nomus, where is your lyre?
I left it in my room. I didn't feel like today was a day for music and celebration. I mean, if you want me to go get it and play for people, I can.
He looks at you and he says, "Go get it. It's an important part of your duty as a member of the Order of Light that you are always prepared. And while you are going and retrieving that, take this back too." And he hands you back your rapier.
Okay. I'll just give him a very, like, humbling, appreciative nod of, thanks for still believing in me. Actually, I may even say that to him. I'll say thanks for believing in me, and I'll go get my instrument.
Good. I should go without saying that I do believe in the three of you. And if my expectations are too high, then I apologize to you. I think that my expectations have been too high.
Great.
So now we're going to get into the first day of patrol. We're going to do this a little bit differently. I want everyone to roll a D6.
That's a regular looking dice for
Is
those
that
of
like
you.
the Yahtzee dice?
The Yahtzee dice, yep.
3.
7.
3.
3, 3, and 7.
Because any of y'all are still listening to me.
I'm like, wait,
I
what?
saw the 6, so I was waiting to hear
6.
6, and I was like, that's not right.
He's adding 1 for Yahtzee.
Full house.
So what we're going to do is we did this in our practice campaign. And
I love these.
What we're going to do is instead of the dungeon masters coming up with what the random encounter is going to be during this patrol day, we're going to let the players do that. So on the website, carriageresttales.com, you'll be able to find a random encounter improv template. So Ryan rolled the highest, so he's going to be our random encounter creator this time. He's going to roll a D20, a D12, and a D4, and then he's going to come up with what happens on your patrol.
I have to do this on my own?
Yeah.
I
you can roll it.
Can I phone a friend?
Are we collaboratively coming up with this?
You can collaboratively come up with it if you want, but you're in the driver's seat.
Ooh. Finally.
And you can't find a dragon and kill all the party. I'm sorry.
All right, so I need to roll my D20, right?
D20 for
all right.
severity.
9.
So it's only a scenic event.
Scenic event. Then what, D12?
D12.
3.
So fully avoided scenic event.
Perfect. This episode's going to be real short.
Yeah.
Do you want me to re-roll this? 3. Midday.
Midday.
So somewhere midday during our patrol, I see something but I don't do anything about it.
Yeah, but you don't engage in it. So what do you guys see? You're in a big city.
We're out in the town, and it's something scenic. Oh, just
Yeah,
like something in the background.
Yeah, like something on the street, a festival, or kids playing.
I see
A robbery.
maybe a festival's going on. We're just kind of observing.
I think for Nomus, with how down he's feeling about himself, there is a festival and there is a troupe of performers, and it kind of reminds him of his background. It kind of helps remind him why he's here. So it kind of rejuvenates him a little bit and gives him motivation to keep going and get better and work with the light.
If I can fill in some details about what you're actually seeing.
Absolutely.
It is a traveling troupe of Loxodon,
Of course.
much like Wallace, and they are doing something similar to what you saw Wallace doing last night or to what Vaso saw Wallace doing last night with his sword. They are doing sort of a dance with weapons, and it's something between a ballet and an opera, and it is a dramatic retelling of the story of how the Order of Light was created.
Oh.
Is there music playing?
Yes.
Can I not to like take over, but can I lightly play my lyre, like get the melody down? Like maybe just start playing it lightly, like I'm tuning it sort of.
Yeah.
Like I don't want to draw attention
so
to
you play it quietly. These performers are playing for quite a large crowd, so you are kind of not just in the back of the crowd, you're kind of separate from the back of the crowd, so maybe some people in the back can just barely hear you, but these performers don't at all hear you.
I just want to try to get the melody down. Nomus digs it. It's not that speed metal stuff that Wallace was talking about earlier,
That
but
32.8.
yeah.
That was the midday scenic event that you fully avoided because you were in part of the crowd. Nice job. We got there.
Perfect. That was much better than the first couple of times we did it.
Yep.
Yeah, I think give a general idea of what you're seeing like that, and then we'll fill in details.
I love it.
I think that'll work.
Sounds good.
So you guys stay, and Benson likes to just observe this because it is a festival showing how the Order of Light has came about, even though it's more of an interpretive dance style. But he enjoys it because, after all, you guys are in the Order, and having you even present in the crowd just makes the performance that much better. But then you move along, and he wants to stop to eat at one of his favorite lunch spots, which is the Crying Onion.
Benson's with us.
Benson is with you.
The Crying Onion.
The Crying Onion, where he's going to get lunch, sit down, and just, if you guys wanted to talk with Benson out in public about anything, that's kind of your opportunity too.
I mean, I think Nomus is feeling better, but I think I would take advantage of being with the group and saying that he was sorry for being arrogant in thinking he closed the rift, but now he knows why he didn't, and that he's going to be better at next time.
Yeah, Vasa's just going to be like, dude, we're all learning here. It's all good. We're a team here.
Well, you didn't go around like jumping up and down saying, I closed the rift, and
Yeah, but
everyone laughing at you. So
we weren't laughing at you.
I think you were laughing
chuckling under our breath a little bit. But
Hey,
man, like
I got shot in the butt.
Yeah, I
by
mean, come
my
on.
own teammate.
I like
she shot her own
I saw
teammate.
that.
Like,
yeah, about that, man. Sorry.
it's all good. Whatever. It was our first. It was our first round. What do you expect?
But like, what a first round. I mean, come on. Don't worry about
we
it.
succeeded. And I'm going to look at Benson like, womp womp,
You did succeed, and none of you got hurt too badly, but it was... There's a lot of room for improvement. I'll just say
agree.
that.
I think that's why we're here, right? Like, isn't this the whole point of this?
It is. And, Nomus, you are not the first one to think that they were using the light when they weren't.
I guess you can say I was blinded by the light.
Alas, the bard is needing a break, so I, your humble innkeeper, shall give a few announcements.
Hey guys, it's Mike, your host and Dungeon Master at Carriage Rest Tales. I just want to say thanks for spending the time listening to us on our podcast. It really just means a lot to us. If you are enjoying this content, please like and subscribe to this channel, and we'll pass this along to your friends so we can grow our listenership as well. You should also check us out on our website at carriageresttales.com. At our website, you'll be able to access some of our additional content, such as our one-shot episodes, but you'll also be able to see some of the information on how you can get a hold of us, either through social media or email. As always, thanks again for being a listener, and don't be a stranger. We'd love to hear from you. Enjoy the rest of the show.
Great. It appears the bard is back and ready to continue his tale.
All right, so you guys finish your lunch with Benson at the Crying Onion, and now we need Nick and Sam to each roll a d6.
Oh, man.
Haha.
All right,
I
here we
have
go.
4.
2.
So Woods, you are going to use the random encounter improv template to tell us what's going to happen. This is going to be at dusk because we're at the second half of the day, so I will fix the d4 to a 4, but you can roll your severity and your avoidance.
So I'm rolling a 20 and a 12?
Correct.
Not 2 20s? Okay. So we're going to roll a 20. I got a 16.
Okay, so the 16 is
Deadly. No, hard.
hard encounter.
And a 1.
A full engagement.
Oh, it's a hard encounter?
Yep, it's going to be a hard encounter. And I do have Benson, so he's going to be able to do quite a bit.
Okay.
But we need to know, what do you guys run into on your patrol?
Wait, are we on patrol or in the Weeping Onion?
You're
Or Crying Onion?
You've left the Crying Onion, you're back on patrol. So
I was
this
just
is
trying to
So
clarify.
this is like the second
And the
half of the
festival's
day.
going on?
The festival was going on. It might have finished at this point.
Wrapped.
Festival is a bit of an overstatement.
Okay. So I feel like we're probably more like the furthest away from the school.
Okay, and then the Order of Light.
Yeah, from the Order of Light that we can be. We're kind of on the outskirts of town. And I'm gonna say that a bunch of let's say drunk characters come pouring out of a tavern. Let's see, Lewiston Fairground. We're near the fairgrounds, so we're gonna be near this canal, right? No, Harbinger Square is where we are, right?
Correct.
Okay, we're over in the park, in the shady area of the park, though.
Sure.
And there's like there's a tavern where kind of like shady people are kind of known to be at. And I feel like Benson's walking us by, giving us a tour and just being like, kind of just stay away from this place. And as he says that, there's some kerfuffle that happens. Some people pour out and they notice our like badges that say Order of Light, and they're against the Order of Light, and they come at us.
Okay, what is the name of this tavern?
The name of the tavern is the Dusty Stone.
All right, so you are all walking through the park when Benson calls your attention to the Dusty Stone Tavern. And he says, "That is one of the rowdier establishments in this city. I would advise you to avoid it. Some of those patrons do not look kindly on the order."
What do you, like, there's people against the order?
Yes, not many, but there are some that disagree with the way we do things. There are some that, that just feel, and as he says that, that's when the crowd of people comes out of the tavern, and one of them catches sight of Benson, who is in his uniform, and he says, "Oi, you, Order Knight, or whatever your rank is, you. My aunt died because of you. Because you were focused on closing the rift instead of saving the people." And as he's saying this, he's getting up in Benson's face, and Benson is rock solid, just stoic face, and he is not reacting, but when the drunk man is talking about this, you can kind of see the like wince in his eye.
Wiz is gonna step in. So she's a big gal. She's a big elf, broad shoulder. So she's going to maneuver her way, kind of, and just say, hey, man, buddy, just back up, man. Like, it's okay. Like, I'm sorry to hear about your aunt, but just just back up, man. Like we're just walking by.
Oh, sod off. Let me go back to altercating with this guy.
Why don't you go back to just go drinking some mead?
Mead? Boys, is there mead around here? And his buddies all kind of like get like, mead? Yeah. They're like, hey, let's go get some mead. And they just kind of stumble off. Benson looks at you and says, we usually don't like to engage, but that was well handled there, Woods.
Thanks. I've had some experience with people who had a little bit too much mead.
Is that so?
Yep.
He's not going to press.
And then you guys head back for the evening as a successful patrol of the first day.
I think so.
So we have the second day and gets to our final player to roll on the random encounter.
All right, so I roll a D20. Just joking. I know.
Get out of here.
Nick wants to play too.
I want to play. Okay, so D20.
D20 for severity.
I rolled a natty 20.
Ooh, that's
right.
deadly.
I think that's deadly, yeah.
Someone's
boy.
gonna die.
So my D12 is a 6.
Fully avoid.
Great. And then D4?
Yep.
A 2.
So it's in the morning. So the morning of your guys' patrol, something deadly is going to happen, but you aren't involved in it.
The morning after.
Wallace farted.
Excuse me.
So I'm gonna say that we're back at the order. We haven't left yet.
Okay.
And then I would say maybe like during the overnight, like while we were back at the order, like all those drunk people kind of went out and started vandalizing the city.
You guys awake, and Benson retrieves you and says,
We have a bit of a situation that I think we need to go investigate back at the Dusty Stone.
and as you guys head over to the Dusty Stone, you are hearing chatter as you're walking around. And a certain word you keep hearing over and over and over again is called Mordina. You keep hearing the citizens saying, someone passed from Mordina. And then you kind of get closer to that group and you see the same group you had the altercation with earlier. And they point at Woods. And they are saying, there's the witch. There's the witch. She cast a spell on him and he died. He died of Mordina.
What? What?
And
What?
then you hear a bunch of other crowds like, that's not how it works. You know, that is just a mysterious death. It's not a cast that gets spelled on you. But he's very insistent in trying to get to you about believing that you cast a spell on their friend who is now dead. And then as you see, the drunkards are now at this point, they're sobered up. They're all standing around a little golden shard. Because as a reminder, when people perish in our world, there's no corpse. Instead, their body turns into a little shard of light called a light shard.
Benson, what are they talking about? What is Mordina?
Mordina is the unknown death. It's an affliction that affects people, as far as we can tell, completely at random. Sometimes it happens fast, sometimes slow, but we're unclear as to the exact cause. It's just some people are afflicted and they die. It's as simple as that. We know frighteningly little about it.
Can I roll a history check?
You most certainly can.
I'm going to roll a d20 and my intelligence a -1. So I rolled a 9.
You don't know anybody personally that has died from Mordina, but I guess you're starting to get acquainted that this is called Mordina. It stands for unknown death.
Oh, okay. We call it the croup in my village.
Okay.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah, I didn't. I mean, obviously I didn't do that. Like, that's not. I don't understand why they think I'm a witch. She's looking at Benson.
I can't speak to their rationalizations in their head. I think they're just a bunch of drunkards that saw you have a confrontation with him last night, and they're looking for somebody to blame. Much like that man who accosted me was doing to me.
I feel like this isn't necessarily the place I need to be right now.
We should spread out, look for anything unusual. And Benson is kind of on edge.
Great. I'm going to roll perception or investigation.
Investigation would be if you
Perception.
know what you're actually looking for.
I would like perception.
So it would be a perception.
12.
Okay.
Oh.
You're going to say something, Nomus?
Oh, I think Nomus would just be kind of walking around playing his new Loxodon song, just looking for,
Yep. and
something out of the ordinary.
Okay.
So if you want me to roll a perception check, I can.
Sure.
I have a +3 in perception.
Ooh.
Is it
As a
blinded by
cat?
the light?
What?
The song you're playing?
Oh, yeah, definitely.
It's stuck in my head.
I'm looking at the sun because that's where the fun is. 17.
And Vaso is also going to roll a perception check.
So all four of you fan out kind of different directions, looking for anything that's a little bit suspicious or weird.
And I get Vaso gets a 4.
Vaso and Woods, you guys don't really find anything. You don't know what you're looking for. Nomus, you're kind of playing your instrument and walking around. And because you're playing, you kind of get more of a crowd. And you actually end up talking to a citizen that was a witness of the event. And it happened about 6 hours after your guys' altercation. And everything seemed fine. Then all of a sudden, this guy just keeled over and then just immediately turned into a light shard. Nobody had touched him, nothing like that. So that's why they were saying that it was a death of Mordina. And then that's kind of it for the encounter. And it's kind of a somber rest of the day. Benson doesn't really want to talk too much more to you guys. You go about and just do your normal patrol, your normal activities. But Benson does seem a lot more down for whatever reason, but he doesn't open up to you about that.
So the bard's tale has come to a close. Ah, what a splendid crowd you have been. We hope we'll see you again at Carriage Rest Inn.
All right, so we're going to do something fun, and we're going to do a little get to know your players. So we're going to go around the table. And what is everyone's first experience with D&D? Like, what is the one thing that you're like, yeah, this is my jam, I like it? Mike, you want to go first?
Yep, I guess I'll go first. So the first time I got into D&D was in my master's program, and I was actually staying at a hotel for 3 months. And we had a lot of time because it was the same group of people, and we actually rented out the conference room at the hotel so we could play Dungeons and Dragons. And it very much confused all of the other hotel guests when they'd walk by and be like, what is this group doing in there? Getting all loud and excited around paper and dice. I loved it ever since then.
John?
Okay, so you said what was the first experience with D&D, and then what was the point where you were like, I like this, and those were not the same moments.
Yeah, okay, so yeah.
So the first time I played D&D, I was just like, I didn't really understand the concept. And I tried, like, somebody gave me a character sheet. We were playing, like, it wasn't like a super well developed campaign. It was just more sort of a battle setting, and like I wasn't quite getting the whole role play bit of it yet. I was trying to enforce too many rules. So that was the first time I played, and the last time for a while, and I was still like interested in it. I just didn't really get it. But eventually I played a couple of times with some friends, but I was only playing with like a DM and 2 people. And I liked it enough that I started doing it more. And then my first kind of like extended playing of D&D was actually me DMing like a totally homebrewed campaign, which I like because I like to just bend the rules.
We've noticed.
Yeah, I like playing as a character. It's a lot of fun. With the exception of the one campaign that 4 of us did together with a couple of other people, I haven't really done extended campaigns. More just like one shot and like 2 or 3 session games. But yeah, I've not played a ton of D&D. I've played a lot with some of the same people, but like I haven't played that many times.
Well, we can't tell. You're super good, so that's great. Ryan.
The first time I played, I was 12. My dad was in the army, so we were stationed in Germany, and he got deployed to Bosnia and met some people who played, and my dad's kind of a lot like me, so he took a lot of interest to it, and we would talk on the phone and write letters, and he would tell me about D&D, and it just like blew my mind because I was living in Germany, like surrounded by castles and, you know, cathedrals, and this is really cool. So he got home, and the guy who DM'd came back with him. He actually lived in the same like apartment complex. So this guy rolled up a campaign, and I did like a typical fighter, and being 12 years old, loved it. So they invited more military guys to play. So I was like a 12-year-old playing with like 30 to 45-year-olds. So yeah. So ever since then, I've loved it.
Nicholas?
Yeah, so I got introduced to D&D by our very own Mike.
Yay!
And he did a. I remember we started off with it was like a mini campaign with just a bunch of our friends, and like a lot of us didn't play, and like after that mini campaign, it was like me and Ryan were like the only ones that kept playing with Mike, and we ended up doing I think Sam joined us then.
Yeah.
And we did like a campaign that was like, what was it?
5 years.
5 years
Yeah.
long. And I just loved it because I got to develop my favorite character of all time. His name is Chad.
Chad the Barbarian.
Yep. Yeah.
Chad.
So I just love like how I started him out as like kind of simple, and we kept adding things to him, and he eventually turned into like a dragonborn type thing.
Yeah, he was badass.
So yeah,
He killed a dragon all by himself.
All by himself.
All by
Yeah,
himself.
if you hear us talk about that, that is what we're talking about. We're talking about Chad. Nick killed the dragon and he did. He killed the dragon all by himself. So that's super funny because I remember all of that happening. And Mike came to me and he's like, I just don't know if Nick's having fun. And I'm like, Mike, Nick's never missed a session. Like clearly he likes it because he's always here. And he's like, oh yeah, he is always here. I'm like, yeah, like he like never blows you off. He always comes. He's like, oh yeah, he likes it. So that was my first experience with D&D, is that whole group when you guys were playing, and I would like hide in our small house while you guys were playing, and then I would hear you laugh, and I'm like, oh, these are all like the guys that I like all of our friends. So I would come out and then I would like sit in the living room, and you guys would be in like the dining room.
You were like a cat. You were like, oh, wait a minute.
Yeah.
And then the more you saw us, you're like, oh, these guys seem kind of cool. And then you just like curled up on the table and
and then I was like, I want to play. But I fell in love with D&D from another podcast. So Mike and I used to go visit my family a lot in Ohio, and we would drive back, and he would always want to listen to a podcast, and I would like sleep. So I was trying to take a nap and sleep, and we were listening to Sneak Attack. And I couldn't sleep because it was so funny. Like, and if you guys, so that is my favorite D&D podcast outside of ours, obviously, is Sneak Attack. So huge shout out to them because they made me fall in love with D&D. So I started on episode 1. We listened to that entire thing, and I was like, I want to do this. I want to play. And that was probably like 5 or 6 years ago now. That was a while ago. So, all right, cool. Well, thanks guys. Thanks for listening to us, and we'll catch you next episode.